Ferguson needs a break, man. Ferguson needs a break.
Yes.
He really does.
Yes, I will say that. And big shout out to Joyce, also Fernando, and Steve watching the stream right now. If you were watching the stream, make sure that you like and share this, spread the word. I think that, listen, Anthony Pettis broke his hand in the Ferguson fight. Mm-hmm. It looked like he tore his nose up, too. I mean, He was in rough shape going into the third round where they pulled the white flag and said, we're gonna cut this. And that was a good call by Duke Roufus. I think that Roufus, from a coaching aspect, understands when his fighter needs to stop. And there's a lot. I mean, you look at Anthony Smith, what happened with him against Glover Teixeira. Teeth are getting knocked out, falling all over the place, and they're like, go get him, champ!
Keep going. But again, I heard that's because he said if one of his coaches ever throws in the towel, they're getting fired. And see, whose fault is that, you know?
Yeah, that's such a...
And I like Anthony Smith, but I don't know, man. You live to fight another day. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That brain damage, when you have kids and everything, come on.
Yeah, and I think with Pettis, you would almost say, with the wars that he's been in, he should stop. But he's looked better than ever. The guy, it seems like he doesn't age at all. So I would love to see the Ferguson fight run back, but I think Ferguson needs at least 6 months.
Minimum.
At least 6 months just to get your head together.
Right.
I mean... The Charles Oliveira fight, he really didn't suffer that much damage.
Yeah, it was the Gaethje fight.
It's the Gaethje fight, but the mentality of both of those fights, and you're 0-2.
I didn't even realize this with Ferguson. He didn't have Eddie Bravo in there.
Right.
Or, what's his name, Rashad? What's his main head coach, the boxing coach? He didn't have either of them in there.
Right.
So he needs to also focus on coaching. Fix that.
I think when it comes to what happens next with Ferguson, I would like to see the Pettis fight. Pettis obviously has enough money to kind of sit out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Work on his sobriety more, which he had mentioned that he took the Ferguson fight 5-week training camp, and he was drunk when he accepted it.
Right.
So when you look at those type of predicaments, being sober, there's so much benefits to it. Obviously, if you like to party, that's awesome. But really, for him, I think an improvement in the career is when you sober up. I mean, you can't be a fighter and also party all the time. Look at Conor McGregor, you know. So I would love to see Pettis fight sooner rather than later. I'd rather see Pettis fight
First quarter, 2021.
But I think if it's against Ferguson, book that for the summer.
Yeah.
International
Fight Week, July.
Yeah, and I don't think Pettis is going to want to wait that long.
Yeah,
but then again, I don't think Ferguson is going to want to wait that long either.
Ferguson's something else.
So it's when you look at that, I would love to see them run it back. I think it would be different. I think Pettis would probably get the better of him.
We're going to circle back to Anthony Pettis, and I only say that because Pereira ended up calling him out. So we'll get back to that.
Yeah, but so that was the fight right before the main card, which I think the UFC is doing a great job of putting those fights together that are really those eye-openers, the Cub Swansons, the Anthony Pettis, where you're like...
It's going to keep you tuned in.
Yeah, and you're like, I know that guy. Mm-hmm. He was on the Wheaties box, and you stick around a little longer. So, when I look at those matchups, I think that in that division, there's a lot of fights for Anthony Pettis.
Let's look at these rankings.
But at 33 years old, 24-10, the lightweight division, but he was fighting Morano, I believe, in welterweight last night.
Yeah, that was welterweight.
Yeah, so that's a 15-pound difference.
Welterweight.
What would I like to see? I would like to see him move up and fight somebody.
So he was ranked number 12.
Yeah.
Morano, I don't even think was ranked.
So you know what? Give him. You can't give him Chiesa because he already beat Chiesa. He submitted Chiesa.
How about Neal Magny? The guy's he's been begging for fights. Nobody's giving him a fight.
But we know what will happen.
Yeah, I feel like Magny wins that, and he's ranked at number 9.
Yeah, if Anthony Pettis fights Neal Magny, that might be his
huge size discrepancy too, reach and everything.
That might be his introduction to Bellator.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that. Maybe Thompson.
How about a Damian Maia?
Yeah, but Maia's
strictly
washed
grappling.
Up. I don't want Pettis to fight someone who's washed up, and I also don't want him to fight someone that's top.
Who did you just say?
Stephen Thompson. Run that back.
Run that back, yeah.
Yeah, because he's not.
He was losing most of the fight.
Yeah, and he's not gonna fight Leon Edwards. He's not gonna fight Colby Covington. He's not gonna fight Jorge.
Nobody in the top 5.
No, it's just not gonna happen. So and that might be a discrepancy with who he fights next. Maybe he gets Vicente Luque. That would be a good fight.
That's just straight striking.
Yeah, anybody who fights fights Vicente Luque, and you could ask Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Vicente Luque is must-see TV.
Yeah,
He's nonstop action.
So hopefully we'll see Pettis. I would like to see him in the first quarter. He didn't sustain too many injuries in that fight, but regardless, good performance from Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
So kicking off the main card, Tybura and Hardy.
God.
Woo! That was awesome. That made me happy.
That made me tired.
Yeah, seriously.
I was gasping for air.
You know, speaking of Stick, we give him the highlight in the show and we talk about him all the time. He had mentioned that the only thing that he knows about Greg Hardy is that he had a domestic violence case, and that also that he played for the Cowboys and that he was a beast for the Cowboys.
Right.
Okay? And I was explaining to Stick, and Stick's not stupid, but for those who don't know, there's a giant difference between football and MMA. You know, football, you get out, you do your couple plays, and then you get to take a breather.
Yeah.
You're not on the field for 15 minutes straight, unless you're like, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't even think it goes that long.
Yeah, I don't even think like star players are out for that long. You know, I'm on Woodward Sports and I don't know shit about football.
Yeah, we sound like idiots talking about football.
Someone can comment.
Just ignore the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, someone comment in the chat and let us know how long football players are on the field before they get off. But that means something, and what I'm saying is that Hardy has had conditioning problems from the get-go. Yeah. Now, we didn't see it in the first couple fights because he had knockouts. He had those first-round victories. He was fighting cans.
Exactly.
He fights Volkov. He loses that fight to decision. And you're like, well, there's something to see here. Like, Volkov is a decorated fighter. He's got 30-plus fights.
Right.
Okay. Then Hardy stacks up a couple more wins, and now he's fighting Tybura. Tybura's a beast.
And he's ranked. He's tough.
He's ranked. He's tough.
He's tested, too.
Yes. When you fight Ben Rothwell, cringiness aside, he's like the heavyweights version of a Cejudo. Yeah. Cringiness aside, the guy really can put a work on you.
He could.
He's got those hands, and he's got kicking power, too. So, going into this fight, my money was on Tybura. And it proved right.
I think you guessed it right, too. I think you predicted right. I think you said third round TKO.
Third round TKO is what I predicted.
Yep.
And actually, I was okay with a submission finish, too.
Yeah.
Because
even though it was a second, close enough.
Yeah.
It was 4:31 in the second.
Yeah, so when you look at Tybura is he's an immigrant strong. It's just a different type of tough. You look at, the Russian fighters, Siberia, all these fighters, Argentina, that are just built a different way. Yeah, China. Looking at Hardy's performance, it was proof to me that Dana kind of pushes fighters a little too much sometimes.
I think so.
You look at Cowboy Cerrone. He was doing good, gets to a title shot, loses. Doing good, gets to a title shot, loses. Now he's 0-3-1 in his past 4 fights, and Hardy's the same. He's now 7-3.
Yep.
He lost second round 4:31 in the second round to Tybura due to strikes. He was gassed exiting the first round.
Yeah, he was. I saw that.
To me, it's well, hold up. Are you training?
And I remember Stick complaining, how do you not have cardio? And I agree, because if you're a fighter, or really any athlete, I just feel like that's just baseline shit.
Yeah.
Your cardio needs to be up.
Yeah.
And before you even talk about striking and jiu-jitsu, your cardio needs to be up.
Well, and the other thing is we witnessed it with Derek Lewis. We witnessed it with Francis Ngannou. Fighters that
they fixed that, though.
They
corrected it.
And that's the difference, is that you look at Derek Lewis from a couple of years to now, it's a completely different athlete. He's someone who could go 5 rounds if needed.
And that's why when we see these up-and-coming guys who are knocking people out in the first round, we're like, okay, that's cool. We like that, but we've never seen them tested. How do they look in the second, third round, Right.
And when you look at, Hardy's performance in the past fights, he hasn't really fought, Jorgen De Castro, Maurice Green, cool, Juan Adams. It's okay, cool. These are really, unless you focus on the sport and know the sport.
Not really ranked guys.
Right. And then he faces, it always seems when he faces top competition, that's when it's he
folds a little bit.
And listen, I'm not trying to just dog on Hardy because he has no cardio. I explained this to Stick, and to me, nothing pisses me off more than cheating. That is the respect of the sport is MMA. It's mixed martial arts. It's an art form built on honesty, integrity, and respect. And when you use an inhaler in between rounds, who told you that was your coaching system is stupid?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, we can blame him, but he's new to MMA. He's new.
That's his coaches. That was on his coaches.
Yeah.
The illegal knee.
He could have also snuck that in without telling his coaches. So really the blame can be passed around.
And you know what's crazy is that they didn't fine him for that.
No.
They didn't charge him with anything. They didn't take away anything. It's like, really? That's what we're doing?
Now remember, Dana White really likes him.
I know, and
so I feel like that helps your cause.
I don't understand why certain fighters get the push. Mm-hmm. You know, especially in a Greg Hardy situation. I get it with Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
I get it with Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yep.
Okay, they have that star power. What does Greg Hardy have?
But he's an NFL athlete, right? So he has name recognition. So I think that alone, plus, I don't know, he has some kind of weird relationship with Dana White. Dana White really likes him.
Yeah.
Got him on the Contender Series.
Right. Speaking of, NFL cardio and everything, Kenny says, I would say each NFL play takes about 7 seconds, then you get at least 25-second break in between plays, and each drive can take between 1 to 7 minutes. So that tells you right there, he's solid for a round.
Yeah.
He's good for 5 minutes.
Right.
But then anything after that, it's dumpster.
But it sounds like there's breaks in between each individual play. Right? Versus 5 minutes straight of grappling and striking. That will gas you out.
Listen, and I will tell you this. Stick, I know you're on here right now. You want us to talk about MMA. Stop pinning comments making you this god. Kenny put something I'm waiting for Stick to come in and table slam. You're listen, just stop, okay? Aaron, also about the PS5 giveaway, you can still qualify for it. Go to our Facebook page. It's pinned right on the top. Something important that's pinned right on the top, the PS5 giveaway. So, Tybura, I mean, obviously, beating Greg Hardy, you're not going to get a title shot.
No.
You're not going to just jump massively to the rankings. I think Tybura is one of those fighters to where, honestly,
heavyweight.
No disrespect, I don't think he'll ever get a title shot.
I highly doubt it.
The heavyweight division is pretty stacked. And,
where's he at? Is he even ranked? He's not even ranked.
That'll tell you everything.
I honestly thought he was in the lower 15.
Yeah, that'll tell you everything that you need to know about the heavyweight division. Hardy needs to put a reset button, and if you go to @ArtOfCombatPod, you can see a funny picture of Greg Hardy gassed. It's the funniest thing in the world.
It's pretty funny.
I can't stop laughing. So
you actually tagged him, which is...
Why do I... Listen, this is...
I think that's crazy that you did that.
Why?
I don't know.
What is he going to do? If he comments, awesome. If he's fuck you, man, that's awesome. That to me is hilarious. But I think that...
what if he fucking comes up here next Sunday... dude, that's fucking...
I want to say something really bad, but I'm not going to.
You know what? We're not on FM dial. What do you got for me?
I just want to... No, I don't want that bad karma coming my way.
I gotcha.
I will just say that if Greg Hardy were to show up, okay, and he wanted to pummel me, I would say that... I'm probably not the right gender to do so. All right, so moving on to the next one. So here we go.
Low blow.
And I just, the thing is I talked to my wife about posting that, and I was like, so the caption, if you're too lazy to go check it out, the caption is, when you finish and she's still going.
Right.
And it's a picture of Greg Hardy
he's zapped.
Yeah. And I thought that it was hilarious. And listen.
It was funny when I seen it.
If you're an MMA fighter and you can't laugh at that, you have to be able to laugh at yourself. Now, hopefully Greg Hardy doesn't show up.
People are way too sensitive these days.
I think that there's a better chance of Greg Hardy finishing his back piece tattoo than coming into the Lady Jane studio to beat me up.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's not coming here.
All right, so moving on to the next fight, which, man, shout out to New England Cartel. Listen,
Hey, we got a reaction video.
Yes.
We went a little crazy.
It is up on the Woodward Sports, everything. Yeah. And it's also on the Art of Combat, Instagram, Twitter, everything like that. Here's the deal. When I started this gig, I told myself, not going to be biased. I'm gonna say good luck to this athlete, good luck to this athlete.
And it's always good luck.
Yeah, but it's fuck that, man. I want Rob Font to win because I interviewed his head coach a while back, and I was so pumped. Okay,
right.
Rob Font, Marlon Moraes. To me...
Look, it's not that I didn't predict Rob Font could win. I just didn't predict he'll win in the first round by TKO.
Right. I mean, that to me was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Here's a quick heads up. Shout out to Adam. PS5 giveaway is Monday on the Bleachen and Bell show, so make sure that you tune into that. Marlon Moraes, been in the game for a while. Rob Font on the come up, trying to get his number in the division. Wow. Like you had just said, I was thinking a second, maybe third round Like, to do it in the first round?
Bantamweight.
Crazy.
He went from 11 to 3.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know he'll get 3,
yeah,
but he beat the number 3 guy.
Yeah, that to me...
He's going to land in the top 5.
That to me was a performance. First round, hit him with some elbows, ground strikes, wobbled him. Our reaction says it all. And listen, my wife was saying, you guys love what you do. Like, I can't tell you the feeling, man.
Yeah. It's, you. I don't know what you love, but that's it for us. That's my thing. Fighting. No other thing, no other